Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome live from the AFC House in Kuala Lumpur, the home of 47 member associations from the continent of Asia. My name is Jung Hwan-won. Thank you very much for joining us for today's draw. As you know, DPR Korea has withdrawn from participating in the AFC's Under-23 Asian Cup Uzbekistan 2022 qualifiers. As a result, today's draw is necessary to maintain the balance of number of participating teams in the competition as decided on draw ceremony on July 9th. So without further ado, to help us understand how the draw works, let's first watch this draw mechanics video.
AFC Under-23 Asian Cup Uzbekistan 2022 qualifiers. Maintaining the balance of the number of teams across all groups. Draw mechanism. Competition format. As communicated to all participating member associations via the AFC's letter dated 8th July 2021 on the qualifiers draw mechanism, the competition will consist of the qualifying and final stages. While there is no change to the final stage, the updated competitions format of the qualifiers due to the withdrawal of DPR Korea is explained in the following chart. Draw for qualifiers. As previously communicated, the draw for the qualifiers was conducted on 9th July 2021, where 19 teams from the East Zone were drawn into 5 groups as follows. With DPR Korea's withdrawal from Group K, the variance in the number of teams across the different groups has now reached more than one team. AFC policy on maintaining balance on the number of teams across all groups. As communicated to all AFC member associations via the letter dated 14th September 2017, the AFC Competitions Committee has mandated the administration to make the necessary changes to maintain the balance of the number of teams across all groups in the AFC competitions where required. The administration will conduct the draw and move one team from Groups G to J to be placed in Group K. Draw mechanics. There shall be only one pot for the draw, in line with the team seeding and draw principle of the draw for the qualifiers conducted on 9th July 2021. All teams from Group G to J will be placed into one pot, except for the teams in position 1 of their respective groups and the host teams, in order not to affect the group balance and hosting arrangements already in place. Accordingly, the following 8 teams shall be involved in the draw. From Group G, China People's Republic and Brunei Darul Salam. From Group H, Timor-Leste and Philippines. From Group I, Myanmar and Hong Kong. From Group J, Malaysia and Laos. The first team drawn will be moved to position 1 in Group K to replace DPR Korea. As a result, Group K will have 3 teams, and one group from G to J will be reduced from 4 to 3 teams. That will conclude the draw to maintain the balance of the number of teams across all groups in the AFC Under-23 Asian Cup Uzbekistan 2022 qualifiers.
Now that we all know how the draw works, let's kindly invite today's draw conductor onto the stage, AFC's Deputy Director of Competitions and Football Events, Mr. Avazbek Berdiklov.
Good afternoon. Greetings from AFC House, home of Asian football. Last month, we have conducted the draw for AFC Under-23 Asian Cup Uzbekistan 2022, splitting teams into 11 groups. But however, following the withdrawal of DPR Korea from the competition, now we plan to do another draw and balance the teams in East Zone, where we have 4 groups of 4 teams and 1 group of 2 teams at the moment. In order to make the teams balanced across East Zone, today we will draw one team from the other groups of the East Zone into Group K, and we make sure that there will be 3 groups of 4 teams and two groups of 3 teams in the competition in East Zone. Without further ado, let me start the draw by introducing the teams which will be drawn from the same pot in front of me. Group G, we have the first team, China PR. They played in all final competitions, and this will be their 5th competition if they qualify to the final event in Uzbekistan next year. Next team from Group G, we have Brunei Darussalam. They never reached the final competition, and they will try their next attempt this October when you play in the competition. We have 2 more teams in Group G, which are Australia, top 1 team in the group, and Indonesia, host of the group. In order not to affect the balance of the group and hosting conditions already in place, we will not be touching those 2 teams, not only in this group, but all other groups. So position 1 team and the host of the group will remain in their position, but we will take only 2 teams which are not top position and not host of the group. Continuing same logic with Group H, we have Timor-Leste. They also never qualified in the final competition, and this will be the first time if they make it to the final in Uzbekistan next year. And another team from Group H, we have Philippines. This is another team never reached the final of the AFC Under-23 Championship or AFC Under-23 Asian Cup, which is the new name for the competition starting from the next edition. Any of these 4 teams may be drawn into Group K, taking the position of DPR Korea, along with other 4 teams, which I will introduce and put into pot now. Starting from Group I, we have Myanmar. They played in the final competition, inaugural edition of the AFC Under-22 Championship, how it was called at that time, in 2013 in Oman. And other team from Group I, we have Hong Kong. They yet to reach the final competition, and they will be trying their luck this time for AFC Under-23 Asian Cup in Uzbekistan. As I mentioned, from Group H, we didn't take top team Korea Republic, defending champion, and also hosts Singapore. And from I, we are not taking Vietnam, which is top position team, and the hosts Chinese Taipei. Same logic in Group J, we have Thailand top position, which will remain in its group, and also Mongolia, host of the group. But we are taking Malaysia out from the group. They qualified to AFC Under-23 Championship in 2018, reaching quarterfinal stage, the only time they played in the final competition. And the last team to be put into pot today is Laos. Another team yet to reach the final competition, and this will be debut for Laos if they qualify to the final in Uzbekistan next summer. We have 8 teams in front of me in this pot. Any of these teams can be drawn into Group K, and all other remaining 7 teams will be returned to their original position in their original groups. And then we will move on with competition this October, having 3 groups of 4 teams and 2 groups of 3 teams in the East Zone. Let me steer the teams properly before I make the draw. And the drawn team, only 1 team, will be taken from its group and positioned as position 1 in Group K. Team to be drawn, Hong Kong. They are from Group I, so Group I will now have 3 teams, and Hong Kong, the team which never reached the final competition, will be trying their 5th attempt to qualify for the AFC Under-23 Asian Cup, playing against Japan and Cambodia in Group K. This concludes the draw today, and I'll pass the floor back to Junghwan.
Thank you, Avaz. That concludes today's short draw. If we recap the draw results, the participating teams and the number of groups in East Zone remains the same. However, Group I and Group K have now changed. Group I, Hong Kong now moved to Group K, joining Japan and Cambodia. So if we recap the two changed groups, Group I will have three participating teams, Vietnam, Myanmar, and Chinese Taipei, the host. And Group K will have three participating teams, Hong Kong, Japan, and Cambodia. That's all for today's draw ceremony. I wish all the very best luck to the participating teams. May the matches be played in the spirit of fair play. And wherever you are, please remember to stay safe. Thank you.